Is riding motorcycles a sport? Catch you inside.
RevelatorAlf.
Hello, welcome to RevelatorAlf. Hope you enjoying the channel and the series of videos. So don't forget to subscribe, like and share, and check out the website RevelatorAlf.com. So, look, I've got a bit of a bone to pick with you guys out there in motorcycle riding land. Many of you out there think that riding a motorcycle is a sport. I hear it time and time again, and mostly, I've got to say, I hear it from many of you guys riding motorcycles in the United States and possibly even Canada. I have no idea where you got the notion that riding a motorcycle is a sport. Now, I'm not talking about riding motorcycles in a sport, as in motorsport, let's say for motocross or for track racing or whatever you might consider, trials, whatever. I'm actually just talking about riding your motorcycle around leisurely or whatever. Many people consider that to be a sport. Well, I certainly don't. I consider it either a mode of transport or a leisure activity, but it's not a sport. So I'm interested in why you guys think it's a sport and where it came about. Where did people suddenly start calling riding a motorcycle a sport? Right, I've got lots of definitions here of a sport. Number one, it's a noun, an activity involving physical exertion and skill. Well, definitely there's a skill in riding motorcycles, I'll give you that. And there could potentially be a physical exertion in riding motorcycles to a certain degree, and it depends on how fast or in what circumstances you're riding it. There could be a physical exertion, especially if you're going off-road riding as well. So there's a physical exertion and there's a skill in which an individual or team competes against another or others for entertainment. So a sport basically means some kind of competition, potentially some skill elements and possibly some physical exertion. It doesn't have to have both the skill or the physical exertion. Let's say chess, for example, you could say that's a sport, a competitive sport. Throwing darts isn't physically exerting, whatever, but there is the competitive edge, and obviously there's a lot of skill. So riding motorcycles for a pastime, for a leisure, isn't a sport. There is no competition there. There are no rules and regulations apart from the rules of the road, as it were. There is no rules of competition. You're not getting points. You're not in a table, a league table or anything. So I'm not sure where the sport element comes from. Now, I could be wrong, of course. I rarely am, but I could be wrong to think that motorcycling is not a sport. And you think it is a sport. But I'm pretty sure I'm right. I don't see how it can be a sport. Now, if you do an extensive search for the definition of sport, actually the lines start to get a bit blurred in terms of the competitive side, the skill side, the physical exertion side of a sport, and sport as derived from a leisure activity. And this is where I think this is kind of crept in. Motorcycling is either a mode of transport or it is a leisure activity, no doubt, but I don't think it's considered a sport, especially if you're just riding on the road. Now, if you're taking your motorcycle off-road riding, let's say enduro riding, trail riding, that kind of thing, there is definitely physical exertion there. There is definitely a skill there, whilst it might be absent of a competitive edge because you're just riding out by yourself, for example. I could say that same kind of thing could be applied for running cross-country, let's say jogging. Yes, there is a sport element there, but there is no competition. So you could say that motorcycling from that point of view is a sporting activity, but not road riding. I can't see in any way, in any dimension, any universe, that could be considered sport. So I'm going to put this to you. Why do you consider riding motorcycles on the road in a normal capacity just either going to and from work, commuting, going on a grand tour, have a leisure ride with your friends or by yourself, whatever, why is that considered a sport? Why do you think that riding motorcycles in a non-competitive, non-physically exerting, and, well, I suppose there is skill there, of course, why is that considered a sport? Because I certainly don't. Leisure activity, yes. Skillful activity, yes. Sometimes physically exerting, yes. But certainly not competitive. If you do, then there's something getting lost in translation here of what is defined as leisure and what is defined as sport. Let me know what you think in the comments below, because this is an interesting one, and I'm sure the debate can rage on and on and on. But I don't know. What about over here in the UK or around Europe or around the world? Do you consider riding motorcycles normally as a leisure activity, or riding to and from work on your motorcycle? Is that, on the road this is that a sport? Do you agree with me? Or do you agree with our American cousins or Canadian cousins who many consider it as a sport? Is it something that actually many people use that term as motorcycle sport, but they don't even consider it as a sport in the traditional sense? It's just a term that is used, that is tossed in the ring, and nobody really pays much attention to it, apart from people like me, who tends to look at these kind of things on a regular basis. Anyway, that's it. Motorcycling is not a sport. Or motorcycle riding on the road is not a sport. Competitive motorcycle racing, in whichever form you wish, yes, that is a sport. Definitely going off-road riding and physically exerting yourself with lots of skill element, yes, I suppose could be a leisure sporting activity, but I think that could be pushing the limits of actual sport. Perhaps not. But on the road, definitely. Let me know what you think. There's a couple more videos coming at the end of this one, so don't forget to subscribe, like and share. Check out the website RevelatorAlf.com, and I'll catch you again on another video coming very soon, where I might be riding my motorcycle in a more conventional sporting manner. Catch you again. Ta-da.